Hello everyone, very good morning and good evening. We'll start the session, guys. Let me share my screen. Just a minute. Okay, guys. So today, what we are going to do is we are going to discuss about tags as well as user-defined functions. User-defined functions and tags. These are the two concepts we will discuss today. Now, when it is coming to the functions, right? Generally, we know the functions like which we are going to use. Like generally, if you use minimum, maximum, count, right? These are all our functions in Snowflake, right? If you wanted to see what all the functions Snowflake is provided, if you observe show functions, you can able to see this one, all these other list of functions, right? So plus, minus, and then minimum, maximum, count, average, right? The list, whatever it may be. So all these other functions which it is already predefined in Snowflake. So we can use it immediately, right? We can able to use these functions. Whenever you want this function, we can use these functions which it is already available, right? Now let's say if any function which it is not available, we need to create based on our user requirement. That we will call it as user defined functions. For example, let's assume tags. Tax may vary from region to region, country to country, product by product, right? In this particular situation, we cannot create a standard function for the tax calculation, right? So based on your project requirement, if you are creating any functions, that we will call it as a user defined functions, UDFs, user defined functions. Once you create a function, you can able to use that in a select statement. Always remember, if you wanted to work with a function, you are going to utilize this in select statement. Select statement, without select statement, you cannot able to call the functions. It is not possible. Any simple like reusable logic, so we can create it as a function, and whenever you want, you can able to use this function, user defined function, you can able to use it. So for example, if you see in a table, any table, if you wanted to see minimum value, maximum salary, minimum salary, all these other functions already which those are available in the Snowflake, but which it is not available. If you wanted to create it, once you create, that function will be created here in your objects. Those functions you can able to reuse it whenever it is required. These are the predefined functions. Other than that, we can create user defined functions also. Now let's see, so how we can able to work with the functions first, then we will come with, later we will work with the tags. Now when we are working with functions, what we will do is we will create some table, and then we will insert some data into the table. Based on this scenario, we will try to understand what exactly the function is. And let me create a table here. We are trying to create a table, and we will insert the data into this product table. Now product table is created. We will insert some data into this particular product table. Now let me insert the data here. Now we are inserting the data into this product table. Now when you see, now let's observe, select star from. So what will be the table name here? Table which you have created. This is a product details table. Now observe the product details table. What you have here, you can able to see the information related to, see this one, product ID, and then product name. We have category, description, and at the same time, so quantity, unit price, and then discount price, right? At the same time, we have cost price, right? These are the things what we are having here. Now here, if you observe, we don't have any tax calculation, right? Now we wanted to create based on this price, like based on the cost, we wanted to calculate a tax. It may be like a 0.2% or 5%, 15%, 10%, whatever it may be. I wanted to calculate a tax. That is my user defined function. Tax function will not be available in any of the databases, right? So here we are going to create it. Based on our requirement, we need to create this user defined function. When you wanted to do this, let's observe. So how we can able to create it. What we are going to do is, there is two types of functions here. One is scalar function, another one is tabular functions. When it is producing single output, that is nothing but scalar functions. We can able to see the output in a, so one output, that is scalar functions. When it is coming to the tabular functions, you can able to get multiple re, return values. Single return value, that will be a scalar function. Now let's see here. When you are trying to create a function here, this is the syntax, guys. Here what we are trying to do is, see this, we are trying to create a function. This is the function name, this is the input value what you are passing to the function, and this is the data type. And observe return value. What is the return value? Here we are using float, as here we are using double dollar, and then if you observe, price multiplied by 10 divided by 100. Now when you use the, when you see this here, see this, what you are trying to do here. So we are calculating a function with, so this particular function name, and then this is the input value. When you pass the input value for this function, it will calculate. Here it is a 10% tax we are calculating. We are calculating 10% tax. Now let me create a function here. See this. Now the function is created successfully. Now when you observe here, you can able to see, let me refresh it. See this one, I can able to see the function which it is created. Observe this one, what you can able to see here, user defined function. This function we created based on our requirement, we created this function. Now if I wanted to call a function, you cannot call function directly. You have to call the function with the, in the select statement. Calling function means nothing but executing a function. It's nothing but executing a function. Okay, now let's see. So when you wanted to implement it, see this one, we are going to call within a select statement. See this, what we are doing is, we have a product ID unit price from this table. Along with that, we need to calculate a tax. See this one, we are calling a function here within a select statement. We are assigning unit price as a input value. When you assign a unit price for this input value, the price will be called here, and then it will calculate this logic. Then it will return as a output, as a tax. See this one, right? We are calling, where we are calling within a select statement. From where the unit price will come from this particular table, right? In this particular table, you have a unit price. That unit price will be assigned to this. Then it will calculate a 10% tax. Result you will get it here. Now observe this one. See this. Now this is scalar function, right? Now, so you can able to see the tax for these unit prices. Here it is a fixed, right? It means the tax what we are calculating here, this particular tax what we are calculating is a fixed one. This is 10% tax what we are calculating. Now I wanted to calculate like more than this, or I wanted to do variable. I mean, I wanted to change. I don't wanted to fix it 10%. Based on my requirement, I wanted to change this particular tax. Then what we can do is, we can create the variables. Now observe this one, we are creating a function with two input values. One is, see this one, calculating variable tax. One is a price, another one is tax. Whatever the value you wanted to give, the tax percentage during the runtime, you can change this percentage here. Now what will happen? The calculation of percentage price multiplied by tax divided by 100. Now let's execute this one. When you execute this, observe what happened. The function is created now. So this one variable tax function is created. Now when I am calling this variable tax, I can able to call with, I will give the input value and then what is the percentage I wanted to calculate. Let's see, suppose here what you are going to do is, I will give like this, create. So this one, select product ID unit price. Unit price, I wanted to calculate 15% of the tax. So I given 15%. Now this one will give 15% of the tax. No, I don't wanted to calculate only 5% of the tax. You can remove this one. Now this is a 5% tax. Based on your requirement, you can give the percentage of the tax here, like which percentage of the tax you wanted to calculate. So here, both the values, whatever the values we are passing in this particular user defined function, these values, unit price and then 5, it will be assigned to price and then tax, and then it will calculate this logic. Then you will get the tax percentage. This is related to 5% tax. So it will calculate 5% tax and then it will give the variable tax percentage. You are changing, right? Based on your requirement, you are changing the percentage. One time it is 10%, another time it is 15%, another time it is 20%. So it may be, so our requirement we can able to use it. Now here, so what we are getting it out from this particular function, we are getting what is output, single value as a output, right? Single value as a output, we are getting it from user defined function. This is scalar functions. We used to call it as a scalar function. Now let's say, so I wanted to get in the form of tabular functions. I need tabular functions here. So let's, if I wanted to work as a tabular function here, now let's observe this. So what we are going to do is, here we will create tabular functions like this. For that, first I will create two tables. Later we will pick these tables and then we will see how to work with a tabular function. Now we are creating two tables here. One is country table. We will insert the data into the countries table. Another one is address table. Now let's insert the data into the address table here. Now we have two tables. One is countries table. Another one is address table. Now observe this one. This countries table, we have the information related to country name and then country code. Same way, if you see address table, user address, right? This is the address table. Now you can able to see user ID, country code, right? So we have a user ID, country code in the address table, and then in the countries we have a country name and then country code we have there in here. Now, so based on this, both the tables, our requirement is we need to join both the tables and then we need to get it as a output. The country name, user ID, country code we required in a output. Then we have to match both the tables. Then how many outputs we are going to get it? Three outputs, right? So previously we are getting, by calling a function, we are getting only one output. But here we are going to get three outputs. So if you are having a requirement of this more than one output, so more than one output when you are executing a function, user defined function, you need to create tabular functions. You need to work with tabular function. This is the syntax for it. Observe this one. What you are going to do is the return, you are going to give it as a tabular function here. Say this. We are creating a function. This is a function name. We are passing ID as an input. Only one input we are passing. What is the output we are getting? Return. Observe this one. Table of, we need to get user ID, country name, right? Two values we are getting it as a output. One is user ID, another one is a country name. When you pass a user ID here for this particular function, you are going to get user ID, country name as a output. And see this, the condition what you are giving here is within a double dollar we are going to mention a logic. In going forward next sessions we are going to see how to work with a stored procedure. When you are creating a store procedure also, whatever the logic you are going to implement it, you need to implement within the double dollar. So here we are creating create procedure name, right? And then you are giving return value after that as double dollar, right? The same way when you are working with procedures also, create procedure name, then you will give the input parameter, then you will have a return, then you will have a as, and then double dollar, you will have a logic. Now let's observe this here. What you are trying to do here is we are joining both the tables. One is country table, another one is address table. So one is address table, another one is country table. We are joining. So with this particular condition, with this particular condition, and based on this logic, so you are going to get it as an output. So for the output, once you receive this, these outputs we are going to get it username and then country name. So these details you are going to get. Now let's create a function here. This is a tabular function. See this one, we are giving table in the form of what we required, what all the columns we required. Now if you execute this here, see this, if you refresh it, we will get this, the tabular function. Now if I wanted to call this, so same way how you are going to call this function, the same way we are going to call the function. See this one, select star from table. So what you are going to get it, what is the function name? This is the function name. See this, what is the function we are assigning the value? 100 we are assigning the value, that is the ID. Whatever the value we are assigning ID, it will match here in this where condition it will go, and then it will match according to this. Based on that, it will fetch the information, we will get it as a output. See this, now what you received, two output values. What you are passing, single input we are passing, we are getting multiple output values. Now this is only for the one record, right? Now I wanted to get it for all the records. I wanted to get it for all the records. Then so you can use like this function, you can give alias name like f. See this one, this one, this function you have given alias name f, and then f dot start. So we require for the all the values, not only for the 100. So for the user ID, whatever the user IDs it is available in this particular table, in this particular address table, you are going to pass this like from this particular table it is going to pick, and then it is going to assign the user ID, then you are going to get the complete details. See this one, for all the user IDs you can able to see the country names, right? So like this, so we can create user defined functions. Once it is created, you can able to use this function in select statements. You can able to use it n number of times. Once it is created the logic, so you can use it n number of times, it will be available here. Only the thing is you need to pass a input, it will calculate the business logic, then you will get a output as a function. These things we will call it as a user defined functions. Okay, clear. Now, when you are working with this, right? This is the SQL language. What you are doing here, you have in Snowflake. What they have given is you can able to write this in different languages also. You can write Python script. You can use Java. You can use JavaScript. You can use PySpark. You can use SQL language. All these 5 different languages you can able to write functions or procedures, whatever it may be. You can able to write in a different language, but most of the time you are going to use SQL language. If any of your team members they are comfortable with writing the procedures, writing the things in a JavaScript language or Java language, they are welcome. So but Snowflake has given an opportunity, so they can able to write it in any language. It will support JavaScript, Java, and then Python it will support, PySpark it will support. So and then SQL it will support. But mostly we are going to work with the SQL languages. Okay. Now let's see. So we will park that procedures thing in the coming session. We will discuss about it. Now what we will do is we will see about the tags implementation, how to work with a tags. We will see that. So when it is coming to the tags, right? It's nothing but grouping together. We will call it as a tags. It's a very simple concept. So but when you wanted to group all together, then we will work with a tags. Tags is nothing but simply we can say that, sorry, for the grouping. So for example, I wanted to keep all, let's say my project related, I have finance information and then healthcare related information, accounts related information. Now I wanted to, whatever the things I am going to do it for the accounts, whatever the objects I am going to create for the marketing, so whatever the objects I am going to create it for the HR, I wanted to group together. So going forward, I wanted to understand, so what all the objects belongs to HR related, so what all the objects belongs to finance related, so what are the objects we have related to accounts related. I wanted to understand, then the tags is going to help us. When you create a tag, it's nothing but just a grouping together. So this is the like very less we will use it, but just for the interview purpose, try to understand it. For the grouping purpose, we will use a tags. Apart from that, we don't have any functionality here. So once you create a tag, when you call that particular tag, when you implement it, you can understand, okay, for this particular tag, what all the things has been assigned. At the same time, when you are running a query, you can assign for your query IDs. For example, whatever the queries I am running, I wanted to give a tag name as, like for example, development, or I wanted to give a tag name as my name. Then if I filter with a tag, I can able to understand, okay, these are the queries has been run by my name. These are the queries has been run by the different tag, right? So that is the main intention of the tagging here. So now let's say, for example, so let's see the example how to implement it. What we will do is we will have, will create, okay, well, first let me create a table here. What we will do is we have a customer table that is in our Snowflake sample database. From that particular customer table, we are picking around 50,000 rows, and then we are creating a table called customer table in our database. Now once we created, you can able to see the data here, customer table data. Now you can able to see this one. You can able to see the different market segments here, right? We can assign a tags for this different market segments. We can assign a tag. Like here, if you observe, let me show you. Select distinct market segment. This is a market segment. Sorry. from customer table. If I observe, what I can see, different 5 market segments. See this here, household, building and furniture. I wanted to create the tag as a house tag or homes tag. Automobiles, machinery. I wanted to create this as a tag, as a machinery tag. In this case, what will happen? Automobiles and then machinery both will be considered as a machineries, and then others like building, household and then furniture, it will be considered as a house tag, homes tag, whatever it may be, right? So that like we can understand that when it is belongs to the homes, that all these are belongs to the homes tag, all these are belongs to the machines tag, right? So that is a one example. Now let's see. So what we will do is we will create some tagging here for the personal data. We are creating a tags. One is for the sensitive data. We are creating a tag. We are creating a tag called tag name called data sensitivity, and then we are creating another tag name called cost center. Just we are giving a comments also here. See this. One is data sensitivity tag. Another one is cost center tag. Now let me create data sensitivity tag. This is related to PII information. Another tag I am creating it for a cost center tag. This is for the another business unit information. Okay. So these are the two tags which we have created. Once we created, I wanted to assign this particular tag to a table. See this one? We are assigning, already we have a customer table. We are assigning the tag called data sensitivity, and then I am assigning that information as a confidential. That will be assigned as a confidential. So this one, for this particular table, we are assigning a tag, sensitivity tag, and then so this data sensitivity, like a tag when we are assigning, so we are giving it as a confidential. Now let's execute this. Now we assigned the tag for this customer table. Now the same way, say this, for this customer we are going to address column, right? So for this particular address we are assigning data sensitivity as PA, personal identifiable information. The multiple tags we are assigning, one is data sensitivity for the customer table, and then data sensitivity for the column. This is for this table we assigned as a confidential table. For this column we are assigning as a PIA, that is a personal identifiable information, that is another tag for this. Now once you assigned, see this. So if you wanted to assign multiple tags for a specific column, yes, we can able to create it. You can create a view like this, and then for this one is sales tag, another one is confidential tag. It's up to us. So one is cost center tag we are assigning, another one is data sensitivity confidential we are assigning. It's up to us, we can able to implement it. The same way we can assign the warehouse also. See this one, the tag name we can assign to the warehouse for, like for example, marketing. Now let me assign this. See this, we are assigning for this particular warehouse, I am assigning a tag called cost center tag as a marketing. Now I assigned as a marketing. Now let's see here what we will do is, so if you wanted to unset the tag, this is a way. Now if I wanted to see, so what all the tags we have implemented. Now let's observe. See this, for that particular database, for this particular schema. Database schema. Okay, database is class here. Schema public. and then table. Let's observe this. Too many arguments. Just a minute. We'll see this later. So what happened exactly, we will see. So before that, let me show you. Let's see what all the tags we have applied here. Show tags. We can able to see what all the tags we have available. So this one, cost center tag, and you can able to see the comment here, and for what it has been applied. For this particular databases it is applied, and then you can able to see the, so what is the comment we have implemented. And at the same time, I wanted to see the object name references with this object name. Let's observe this one. Within the tag references for the customer, object name as customer. It is not applied. Just a minute. We applied for the tag. Okay, because it is account usage schema, you can able to see that maybe after like 45 minutes. So we can able to see what are the tags we have implemented, right? The which database name, which schema it is applied, what is the value we have applied, what is the tag name you have applied, and then what is the object name you have applied, whether it is a column, so whether it is for a view, what you have applied, you can able to see all the information here, so that we can able to see after some time. But I'm sure why it is not. This one also, it will, you can able to see that after some time. Let me show you this one. Information schema, it has to be displayed. Yeah, see this one, information schema. This is a like the customer, and then this is a table, right? Now if you observe this here, see this, we can able to see table, and then you can see the tag. What is the tag? The name, data sensitivity tag. It has been applied for the, what is the object name? The customer. So where it has been applied? So for the table it has been applied, right? For example, wherever you have applied this particular tag name, so we can able to understand, so what exactly it has been so implemented. Based on the specific, if you wanted to filter it out based on the tag value, based on the tag name, so you can able to filter it out. So what are the things it is available, where it has been applied, just to grouping together, we can able to understand this particular tag information. Not only this, so let's say for example, we can apply this tag for queries also, whatever the queries we are executing. Let me show you. See this, I am using alter session set query tag. Whatever the queries I am executing, see this, I assigned a separate tag for this. Okay, now let's observe this one. What you can see is we have assigned a tag. Now I am executing some query here, show tags. Now if I go and then if I see query executions here in the query history, let me show you. Here we can filter it out with query tag. See this one, what you observed here, we can able to understand. So what is the tag here, query tag. So for that, all the groups, so which it is executing for that particular like department, right? You can assign the specific department for a tag, and then for that particular department, whatever the queries we are executing, So in this particular session, I wanted to see all these queries has to be with a specific query tag, so that we can able to understand so which query, so which tag it has been executed, right? This is just for the grouping together. So any objects, like all the objects grouping together based on the business scenario, business perspective. So we can create a tags like this. We can assign a tags for the specific values. That is the main intention of the tags. Other than that, we won't use it any kind of any business scenarios. Okay. Now, uh, in the next session, what we will do is we will see so how to work with a procedures. Before that, let me show you here. If I go to, as we discussed, we can able to write these things in all the different languages, right? For example, procedures. You can able to write the procedures, or you can able to write the functions and different languages. Let me give you the details here. Create procedure. Okay, observe this one. So when you are writing a procedures, see this. So you will have all the different languages. We can use Java language. We can use JavaScript language. We can use Python, Scala, and then so SQL language, SQL language. So these are the like different languages. We will use all the 5 languages Snowflake will support, right? Remember this one. This one will be your certification question. What all the languages Snowflake will support when you are writing your procedures or when you are writing your functions? You can, it's up to us. Like you can use Java, you can use JavaScripting, you can use Python, Scala, or Snowflake. But most of the time, what we are going to do is we are going to write with a SQL language only. That is nothing but a Snowflake scripting language. The same way when it is coming to the user defined function, also what we have done. So these functions also, see this one, you can able to write what we have done today, that is our SQL language only. You can able to write that in a Java language, JavaScript language, Python, Scala, and then SQL, whatever it may be. So it's up to us. So we can able to write it in a different languages. So based on that, we can able to do that. So if anyone is familiar with other languages like Python or JavaScripting, just if you click on this here, then you can able to understand. Let me come here, store procedure. For example, see this. If you familiar with JavaScript, you can able to see the execution, how it has to be executed, how the thing is going to work. Here the language we are going to specify as a JavaScript. In the coming session, we will see that examples of SQL language and one JavaScript language also, we will understand it. So but if you have like a time, so just go through this once. If you are familiar with any scripting language, so you can able to understand so what this is all about, and then how we are going to call it. So here, if it is a Java language, you will use Java. If it's a JavaScript, you will use JavaScript. If it's a Python, you will use Python. If it's a SQL, you are going to use SQL. Like that. So the syntaxes will change. Here and there, the syntaxes, variable declarations will change, but the procedure will be the similar. Like double dollar, within the double dollar, you are going to mention the body of the logic. That is nothing but a transformation logic or the business logic. This is the body. This is the body. And then here, this is the header, like create procedure, procedure name. Then we will use return value. We will use language. So this is the like header, and then this is the body what you are going to use it. This is the same syntax, but based on the languages, it will vary differently. Okay, so we'll see that in the coming session how to work with these things. We'll stop it here. We'll come to the questions. Can we just one of the many columns in a table UDF is written? Yes, tabular function will return more than one column, guys. Yes, sir.
Right, but then can we use the one field of the tabular function, what it is returning? So it's returning a table, right?
We can use it, but if you use it, there is no use of a tabular function, right? Instead of that, we can go with a scalar only. Single value means directly we can work with the normal function only. When you are using tabular function, the main intention is it more than one return value, then we will go with the tabular function. If you want single, yes, we can do that. Yeah. Any other questions?
UDFs are costly operations on the queries, or
Uh,
can we,
no, we
because
cannot.
here it is
Hmm,
5 UDFs,
hmm.
they say you don't use UDFs
Okay,
as
no, it is not like that here. UDS are like just like a objects, like how we are going to create a view, how we will create a table. The same way, UDS will be created and then it will be performed in the backend. But Snowflake will not charge anything additionally for the UDFs.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. You can use it freely, and then once it is defined, you can use it in a number of the tables or a number of procedures, whatever it may be. Wherever you want, you can able to recall this. It
Okay.
won't be the
Will
additional
it
burden.
very
Yeah.
performance decrease if we are using UDFs?
Not much. So more number of UDFs. So if you use, yeah, it may be, but most of the time what will happen is if it is a complex business logic, we will go with a procedure. If it's a simple logic, then only we will come with a user defined functions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The UDF is same as table function, is it?
Yes, exactly.
How do we identify all the
Mm.
UDFs tagged to a table, uh,
All the UDFs?
which are created for
No,
a table?
no,
We
it is
cannot.
not for a table. Okay, let me give you clarity here. Once you created this UDF, right? You can use this for any of the table wherever you have this particular like values, right? You are going to call this, so you can able to implement it based on the business. For example here, so what you are calling in this particular procedure, if you observe the definition of this, see this, we are calling a tax, right? In any of the table wherever you are having a tax value, everywhere you can able to use the same function, right? Same user defined function, you can able to use it. It is not associated to any of the table. Nowhere we are telling that this has to be utilized in only for this particular table. It is not like that. Only the thing is you are going to pass the input parameter. What input parameter you are going to pass to this? Based on that, it can be a here based on our requirement. Here we have given the salary column. I mean, sorry, unit price column as the input, right? But maybe you may have another table, for example customer table. You may give the customer salary as the input, right? Here, so it
Yes.
is not related to specific table, so you can use it across.
Yeah.
Yeah. Globally you
Oh,
can use it. Yeah.
thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah. Do we need to provide explicit usage
Mhm.
on the UDF, or is it like by default anyone can use it?
Anyone can use it by default. Once it is created, whoever is having permissions, you can able to use it. Yeah. Okay, guys, thank you all, see you tomorrow. Thank you, bye.